Right, tomorrow night, 8 PM, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea take the trip to Sweden to face yet another European powerhouse in the Europa Conference League semi-final. First leg when we come up against Djurgården. Not your garden, it's Djurgården, your garden. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced, at least in Swedish. I've done my research, extensive research, but let's be honest, we don't need to pretend that we need to do any research on Djurgården, as we all know that they are a terrific little outfit. I mean, who doesn't remember that 2-2 draw against Juventus 21 years ago in the Champions League qualifiers? I certainly do. Del Piero certainly does, as he failed to get on the score sheet in that match. So what I'm saying is, 11th place or not in the Swedish Premier League right now, these boys mean business. Not only that, they reach some form of European competition pretty much every single season. Pretty much every single season they fail to actually get out the qualification rounds, other than the Europa Conference League. I mean, you got to go all the way back to, I believe, 1996, when they actually got to the group stages of one of these European competitions, and that was the Intertoto Cup. What a weird cup that was, by the way. I mean, big ups to Newcastle and Fulham, and I believe it was West Ham that won it. But did anyone ever really win that cup? Because as far as my memory serves, every single season you got 3 winners of that cup. Make that make sense. Anyway, regardless, who cares about the Intertoto Cup? The point I'm trying to make is that in Djurgården, you're looking at a team that historically are on par with, I don't know, let's say Arsenal, for example, because neither of them have won a Champions League. And that's what I'm kind of basing this on. Although I suppose Arsenal have a better chance of going on to winning the Champions League because, you know, they came up against PSG last night. Anyone got the score for that one? Didn't catch it. Did not catch it. So, yeah, who knows? But, yeah, in today's video, we are going to look forward to the game against Djurgården. As always, I'm going to give you lot my starting lineup picks. As always, I am going to have one eye on the game and one eye on the weekend's fixture, which is against the champions, Liverpool. We will be giving them a guard of honour, and as a token of appreciation, they will be giving us 3 points to help us on our way to Champions League qualification. Not only that, but there are plenty of rumours coming out of Stamford Bridge this week. I could do a separate video on it, but I can't be bothered. So I'm just going to stick it in this video. All for the price of one, and you're not even paying. So there you go. If that's not enough to get you lot to subscribe to the channel, then I don't know what will be. Please do hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the like on the video, and if you haven't already, turn on the notifications bell. I really hope it's up here, because I always point up there. That's just my ceiling, to be honest. Right, the game itself, we really should be winning this one, shouldn't we? The class, the quality, and the amount that we've spent on this team, no matter whether we field the B team, the C team, or the fucking Z team, we should be getting past Djurgården in this one. But one thing that I have learned from this little experience in the Europa Conference League is that you're constantly going to hostile environments. Their stadium, by the way, has a capacity of 30,000 fans, and they will most definitely fill that stadium out. And that can often, especially with a young squad like Chelsea's, especially when you're starting the B team a lot of the time, can often impact players earlier on in games. It can act for the opposition as a 12th man at times. But again, I bring it back to the fact of the quality and the class we've got. They should be able to start 22 men and we should still be winning this game. Because although many people will say that Chelsea standards have fallen, mine have not. And anything short of reaching the final and then winning the final, in my opinion, would be an embarrassment in this competition. West Ham did it. Chelsea need to do it. At the same time as this, though, it is about managing the legs, managing the minutes, and managing the load of some of our key players, because on Sunday we have to play Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. And listen, there's never a great time to play Liverpool, is there? Fuck knows when the last time we got a win over them was. It was a long, long time ago, I can tell you that. Probably the Thomas Tuchel days. But this Liverpool side, newly crowned champions, we really, really need to be at absolute minimum avoiding defeat, because I do think that when you look at the run-ins of the teams there or there around us, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that if we were to lose to Liverpool, we can pretty much write off our chances of getting a Champions League spot, unless we were to beat Newcastle at St James's Park and Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. And on the way things have been going, that doesn't look all that likely. But luckily, a large part of this season has been based around multitasking, especially when it comes to the Conference League and the Premier League. And despite going out both domestic cups to Newcastle and Brighton respectively, I do think that Enzo Maresca has done quite a good job in managing the multitasking of the Conference League Thursday nights and then the Premier League games on the Sunday. And realistically, I don't see tomorrow night being all that much different against Djurgården. I think it's going to be a chance for some of our younger academy products to impress, a chance for maybe some of the players like a Keane and Dewsbury Hall, for example, spoiler alert, to be able to continue what I actually believe has been a bit of an uplift in form for himself recently, and a chance for the younger players, Tyrick George, for example, if he plays, to experience some of these hostile and some could say overwhelming environments ahead of what lies ahead, which is almost certainly going to be Europa League football next season, but you know, still clinging on to the chance that it could be Champions League football next season. And not only that, depending on the starting lineup that we see around 7 p.m. tomorrow night when Chelsea drop it off their Instagram and the various different websites all put out the confirmed lineup, we are going to get a pretty strong indication as to how Enzo Maresca will approach the match against Liverpool. And now last time out, Enzo Maresca shocked a lot of Chelsea fans with his starting lineup in the Conference League, going what we felt was probably too strong and had maybe labelled him as putting more importance on the Conference League game than the Premier League game, which felt mental at the time. Now we're coming in off the back of a couple of good results. Things are seeming a little bit better, but either way, this is not my predicted lineup. This is my preferred lineup, and as you can see, I've got Jorgensen in goal, Joshua Changpong right back, and then I've gone with Tosin Adarabioyo and Benoit Badiashile. Now, it has been reported that Malo Gusto may well be in a race for time, fitness-wise, but I do think that if we could have him in this game, I would probably play him, and I would prefer to play him in this one over the Liverpool game. So you can see him on the graphic at left back, but realistically, he would be the inverted midfielder. If he isn't fully fit, then maybe we'd see some half-time substitutions, one of those being him coming off, and then maybe Joshua Changpong being the inverted midfielder. Now, speaking of inverted midfielders, that's what we felt like Reece James would do, but I actually think that he will start this game. And again, it's not a predicted lineup, it is a preferred lineup. Would I prefer to see Reece James on the pitch against Liverpool? I would. I really would. But at the same time, I think that Reece James is the victim of the whole Lavia Enzo Caicedo dilemma. And I believe that having those three boys on the pitch against Liverpool, at least to start the match, is going to be essential for us. So I think that the captain, the leader, the man who is able to get a tune out of this team and organise them is going to be necessary when we take the trip to Sweden from the start. Alongside him, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Now, this might be the shock for you, but I'm going to start Cole Palmer in the 10 in this game. I mean, look, I don't feel like Cole Palmer is taking a lot of wear and tear on the body in these games. I don't feel like he's, his heat map would suggest that he's got somewhat of a free role and he's getting around the pitch and whatnot. But at the same time, he's not doing the same sort of running as a Pedro Neto in the league games or something like that. So I think that if Cole Palmer was to get 45 minutes in this game, something maybe similar to that, maybe even an hour, that could be good for him. It could be good for him going in to the Liverpool game, because at some point it's got to happen. He's got to break his duck, and I think that if you start him in this game, he probably will. I believe we will probably get a penalty in this game. So there you go. If we get it, then Cole Palmer can slot that home. That would be lovely. Jadon Sancho on the right-hand side, Tyreek George on the left-hand side, and I'm going to give Shin Mayuka another opportunity through the middle. Now, earlier on in the season, it would have obviously been Mark Gu. I think that Mark Gu looked really impressive in this Europa Conference League when he had played. He looked tenacious. He was running, chasing down balls and whatnot. But with him coming out of a season-ending injury, more or less, don't know whether he'll be back at all now, I think that Shin Mayuka has an opportunity in this game, and I do think he should be starting. It looks like there's been a fallout now with Christopher Nkunku, and he very much won't be in favour. So, yeah, he could start. Either way, I do think that Enzo Maresca will go stronger than this. Maybe one of Caicedo or Enzo or Romeo Lavia, who's now available for these matches, I believe, could feature. But this is just my preferred lineup. Now, I'm probably going to say that we're going to be drawing 0-0 at half-time. And I think that if I do a live stream, the chat will be going mental. It will be Maresca out. Oh, that's all you'll hear. And then the team talk will happen at half-time. We'll come up for the second half and eventually end up winning the game by 1 or 2 goals. But you lot let me know your predictions in the comment section below. But we are not done here, my friends, because there is some transfer news coming out of Stamford Bridge that we need to talk about. But just quickly, do you need a little bit of grooming TLC ahead of a big summer? Beard looking a little bit ratty, or what about a shape up downstairs? My advice is to do what I do each and every time, which is look at my best. And by the way, this doesn't just happen by accident, because I am one of over 12 million men worldwide who use Manscaped. And you could be too by using my code Joey Knight, all one word. There's a link in the description, and that will get you 20% off your order and free shipping. Now, I've been getting quite a lot of compliments recently, and that is all thanks to the Beard and Balls bundle by Manscaped. And in that bundle, you have got the Beard Hedger, your go-to precise beard trimming tool. We've also got the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, which is tasked with taking care of everything below the waist. Now let's get on to the Beard Hedger, which offers you customizable trimming with 20 different settings, so you can adjust your beard length with ease. And it's got skin-safe technology designed to minimize nicks and irritation around your face. But what about the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra? Well, that offers interchangeable foil and trimmer blades, ensuring a smooth and comfortable experience even in those sensitive areas. And with both of these bad boys, you get some serious long-lasting power. 60 minutes of runtime with the Beard Hedger and 75 minutes with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. And not only that, both devices are waterproof, meaning that you can use them in the shower and clean them easily afterwards. And they've got a travel lock, meaning that you can use them comfortable and safely in transit, and it won't drain that battery. Manscaped offers a 30-day money-back guarantee so that you can try the beard and balls bundle completely risk-free. So join me in looking as fresh as you possibly can and use my code JoeyKnight to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Just hit the link in the description and that will take you there. Thank you very much to Manscaped for sponsoring another video. Let's get back into it. Because there have been various news outlets reporting that Wesley Fofana, one of the first high-profile signings of the Bowley and Bluecoat era, may be getting moved on in the summer, returning to France, with Marseille reportedly being very interested in the 24-year-old centre-back's signature. Now, first things first, Wesley Fofana on his day is probably the best centre-back right now at Chelsea Football Club. I feel like there was a really exciting partnership blossoming between himself and Levi Colwill earlier on in the season. And I could be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 here, but I think that there is some weight to the argument that when Wesley Fofana came out the team around Christmas, that's when the dip in form really started to happen. And it was great seeing Wesley Fofana earlier on in the season because we had seen far and few between of him realistically since we had signed him. So to see him playing, to see him showing versatility, trying out new roles and adapting to them quite well, I was really excited for it. But I can't say I wasn't gutted when I found out about the injury that was going to rule him out for, let's be honest, pretty much the whole season. So if there was a guarantee, right, that you could keep this man fit, then I would be saying that we would be foolish for even entertaining a sale for Wesley Fofana, especially the cash we laid out for him. Like, let's be honest, it's not PSG, it's Marseille, isn't it, right? On a business level, this would just be embarrassing because we spent the best part of 75 million quid on Wesley Fofana, and we're not going to get anywhere near that back for him, are we? And if it was a situation where he had come in and we had spent that outlay for him, but he was a proven player and he had won us titles, trophies, silverware, and then we moved him on after 2 seasons for, I don't know, half the price we paid for him, I'd go, do you know what? Probably not the best business deal, but fuck me, we had some good memories, didn't we? And so far, we haven't been able to have those with Wesley Fofana. Not only because we haven't delivered as a team on the pitch, but more so for the fact that he just hasn't been there. He hasn't been there. I mean, this season he started 14 out of a possible 40 games that he could have started for us. Last season he didn't start a game, did he? He was injured for the entire season. The season before that, he started 14 league games for us. So Wesley Fofana has never been a consistent feature in our team since he came in there. And therefore, due to these long-term injuries, I don't know. I don't think that the story is as unlikely as maybe it felt when I first read it. I don't know. If it was a player like Mudryk, Disasi, who else have we spent big money on? Nkunku, I genuinely do think that it wouldn't feel the same way as letting Fofana go, because shoot me down in the comment section, but I believe in those 3 players that I just named there, I don't think any of them are going to progress to be world beaters, right? I could be proven wrong with Mudryk one day, who knows? But I don't think any of them are going to progress to be world beaters. Whereas if Wesley Fofana got over his injury nightmares, do I think that I could see him starting centre-back for the French national team in major international tournaments in years to come? Yeah, I do. I genuinely do. I genuinely do think he is that good. And therefore, it's a real gamble if we were to sell him. Because if we were to sell him and then he was just to get fit, you know, we'd look back on it and probably think, oh, what the fuck have we done? Do you know what I mean? It's like with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He was always injured, then we sold him, and then he was always fit. But, historically, albeit under the old regime, we have had a knack of moving players on at just about the right time, haven't we? Especially when it comes to injuries and the sustainability of their body. I mean, I think of Eden Hazard. He left his best days at Stamford Bridge. Peter Cech was never the same after moving away from Chelsea. You could argue Diego Costa. It was a short stay, but it was a stay where we squeezed every bit of juice out of him. And I'm not saying that he didn't have a bit of success at Atletico Madrid after, but his best days were left at Stamford Bridge for me. David Luiz, the list goes on. All of their best days were left at Stamford Bridge for me. So I don't know. It's a problem because not only do I not really want to see Wesley Fofana go, I do want to see him start more matches and be available a lot more. And I believe that when we've got players like Reece James in the team, who, touch wood, will stay fit now, has been fit for quite a little while now, but Reece James, Romeo Lavia, if you add another high earner to that list of players that are only going to be available for a quarter or a third of the season, it's not really a sustainable way to run your squad. So I'm really, really conflicted with it. One thing I'm not conflicted on is this. If we were to sell him, which I'm not saying I'm for, it needs to be a sale, because the reports are that De Zerbi thinks that he can swoop in there and have a season-long loan for Fofana and then decide whether they want to buy him. That is fucking ridiculous. It's like, imagine buying a Ferrari, right? Taking out no insurance on it, and then letting your mate who hasn't even passed his driving test, and when he has drove a car, he's usually drunk, borrow it for 10 months, and expect it to come back in perfect condition and have the same value as it did when you bought it. It's moronic. It's fucking stupid. This ownership needs to stop loaning players that are just going to be back on our hands and back our problem. And the way we've dealt with the recruitment has very much been, well, we'll get that sorted, and then we'll do this, and whatever. And it never seems to fucking transpire, does it? So, get your head together. Anyway, in an ideal world, I wouldn't sell him, to be honest. If we were to bring in a Mark Gahey, for example, and then you sold him, and then we went and signed, I don't know, Dean Huijsen, or Huijsen, however you pronounce it, from Bournemouth, then maybe it'd soften the blow. Maybe I'd sanction it if I was in charge, but who knows. Next up, we have 22-year-old Morgan Rodgers from Aston Villa. The media are reporting that there's serious interest from Chelsea, and I'll be honest, from the second I first laid eyes on this lad, I thought that he was a really, really good player with a seriously bright future. He's versatile. He can play on either wing as well as an attacking midfielder. When I look at the left wing, and I think that there's still uncertainty over Jadon Sancho's future. I do believe that Mykhailo Mudryk will get a ban. Obviously, we've got Tyreek George there, but is he ready for the here and now? Not too sure. I think that Morgan Rodgers would probably be a good signing. I would also say that I would probably sign 2 players in positions before I address that left wing position. That's what I would be looking at. I think that first and foremost, we need to get a number 9 in. When we do that, that might alleviate the pressure of having to even sign a left winger, because I think that Nicholas Jackson is a perfect left wing option, right? And then maybe we won't stifle the minutes of Tyreek George, because let's be honest, right? If Tyreek George had started playing for Aston Villa last season, getting games week in, week out, or minutes week in, week out, who's to say he wouldn't have been able to replicate what a Morgan Rodgers has done? I'm not saying that he's any better than Morgan Rodgers. I think that Morgan Rodgers is a brilliant player. But I do think that a lot of the time we just base this on the players that have played more, which obviously you only can do. But at the same time as that, I think given the opportunity, a lot of our players would have looked brilliant. We're seeing it at the moment with Kane Chukwuemeka getting given the opportunity at Borussia Dortmund and looking good. So, yeah, I don't know. He's versatile. He's a great player. I do like him. I wouldn't moan if we were to sign him, but yeah, there's positions that I would like to see addressed even more. So in an ideal world for me, it is bring in a number 9, then look at the defence, maybe look at the left wing, and definitely bring back Petrovic and Santos from their loans. People, sorry for making it a little bit longer, but I wanted to cover all grounds in one video. If you've made it to the end, please hit the subscribe button. If you're not already, smash a like on the video, and I will see you in the post-match review.